Hello, everyone. Welcome in to my show, live show. I'm April Wyatt. I'm your host of Living with Intention, and my intention is to bring forward amazing guests that talk about different aspects of wellness. And it's so important in this day for us to be more mindful of our own emotional intelligence, of our own EQ and our energy, and how we are presenting ourselves in both professional and private settings. And this is about the great recalibration. So I have Boz Porter here with me and Curtis Rivers, and we're going to really get into it and talk about their stories, which are amazing, fascinating, actually, and also talk about how to support you in this recalibration. And before we begin that, I just want to bring something up, and that is my Bali experience that's happening here. And so this Bali experience is really a recalibration in itself. It's a restorative retreat that myself and my co-host Brian Cochran are offering next year. And it's a 6-night, 7-day experience. And this is something that if you're feeling called to move beyond just self-help, beyond just weekend webinars, and you want to have an immersive experience, this might be the answer for you. And to give you a little bit more context, I'm going to play a little video of our last retreat.
These retreats and any retreats that we design are specifically created for someone that said, I want to find myself. Or you've ever heard someone say, I just don't know who I am. The multi-layered approach to this gives you the answers before the questions are even completely formed. So at the end of one of these retreats, the integration process starts and your life just unfolds.
You feel overwhelmed, having that pressure of everyday life. This is where we can come together to find that space for expansion within ourselves.
It's so rare to meet so many beautiful strangers, to sing with them, to dance with them, to laugh with them, to cry, to release so much baggage, challenges and limiting beliefs and fears and bond and share stories. I've never experienced anything like this before. You know, it's just a really touching, magical experience that I'll never forget.
It's been an experience, it's been an adventure, it's been emotional, it's been so full of love and gratitude.
The most transformative part for me this week has been hands down the breathwork sessions. They will take you so far in beyond yourself, and it is a complete blessing to get to meet yourself there for the first time.
I was able to move through a lot of emotions that have been stuck in my body for decades.
It was nice to be vulnerable in such a large group of people.
To be able to tell the truth, some of the things that I had never, articulated them, for them to come out was very freeing. I think that for me was a transformation, to get away from the pain and to know that I'm gonna be okay.
So we all start as strangers and you walk away as family. And I mean the kind of family you've always dreamed of.
The expansion within ourselves brings peace of mind and really a spaciousness within ourselves. So that way we can address the challenges in life with more resiliency and feel more grounded and at ease in everyday life.
One of the reasons I signed up for this was because of April and Brian. I knew I would be held in love in a safe place, and I would recommend them highly.
There's a lot of people that I would recommend this to, everybody I know.
If you feel called and ready, we'd love to meet you.
I just get chills every time I watch that video. It's absolutely transformational. It really is. And speaking of transformational, I want to bring up some amazing people with us today. And that is, who is, I should say, we have Boz and we have Chris add to the stage. Hello, friends. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Yes. It's amazing to have you. We have a lot of people in the audience, wow, that are here celebrating this discussion. It's so needed, this recalibration for ourselves and others. And we have add to the stage. And I'm getting some feedback here. I don't know what that is, if you all heard that or not, but that's okay. So before we get into the discussion, how about Curtis, you sharing a little bit about you and how you've, discovered in yourself that recalibration? What brought you to that point in your life?
Great question. Well, hello, first of all, and thanks ever so much for having me. Been really looking forward to this. The recalibration for me, it's a journey that continues, but there was a definite point of moving away from a lifestyle I'd created before as a younger man. That was as a Hollywood movie stuntman, very brash, tough, fist fighting, alpha male, daredevil, it seemed, but in reality, all of that was just a big front, because that person who turned himself into a movie stuntman and broke world records was actually a quiet, introspective kid who was grew up as a bookworm and was quite shy and retiring. And it wasn't really me. I wasn't even sporty as a child. I had to really develop these things and work hard to become a martial artist and a boxer and a fighter and all of the other skills that I picked up. So from that young age, I was in my 20s when I achieved all of those things, and early 30s when I started breaking world records. It was by the time I was in my 40s where it just got more and more difficult, because I wasn't that person anymore. I'd gone back to the real me, who was that kid who was introspective and more spiritual, more attuned, balancing my inner feminine with my inner masculine and having a good open heart and being kind. And that just did not resonate with the tough guy image at work on the film set. So it got more and more difficult to just be me. So I had to take a deep breath, clip on a radio, put an earpiece in, put on a baseball cap, step out of my vehicle, run the floor just to survive, until such point that I accepted I was just doing it for the money, that the things that I'd started to do outside of the film set, motivational speaking, writing books, a bit of coaching, that was making the difference. And that really resonated with my heart. And so that was the beginning, the genesis of me moving over from being somewhere that was no longer a fit. And I was kind of lost, well, what else am I going to do? I've been doing this all my life. It pays well. It's other people would give their right arm to be mixing with these A-list celebrities on a big movie set. Why am I so ungrateful? And yet the reality was it's because it wasn't me. It takes courage to accept that and some real deep exploring to say, well, what is me? Truthfully, truly deep down. And that's what I do now. I'm helping people ask those deeper questions, holding their hand and leading them down that path to their true selves.
Mm. And it's so needed, so needed. And what you explained, Curtis, about recognizing the struggle of having to put on that baseball cap, having to get your mind into it because you were disconnected from your authentic self, your true self, and that calling. Thank you for sharing that. And Boz, sharing your story and the recalibration that happened for you.
Yeah. Firstly, Curtis, thank you for spending some time here with us. Your story is completely transformational and inspirational for so many. It's a privilege to share a stage with you and April. Me, I don't know really where to start. I, a bit like Curtis, was a different background. I grew up in London, just outside of London, joined the army at a very early age, spent 9 years within the forces, and became something I didn't like. I didn't know what that was back then. From when I retired from the forces in 2004, I became a DJ, and probably one of the biggest capital party world in Nine Napa. I ended up being professional for about 8-9 years there, where I became a drug addict, alcoholic, basically the worst person that I despised the most. I wasn't very nice, very narcissistic, arrogant, knew it all back then. And then I had a come to Jesus moment, spiritual awakening, in about 2018, 2017. And I had a choice. I had to either make a change, which is what I chose to do, or carry on a path that was going to lead ultimately to my demise. And I chose to change. And that change took me on a journey around the world. And now I live in Colorado with my wife, and I have a multiple 7-figure business helping people doing what I love. But like Curtis and so many others, you come to that breaking point where you have to make a decision. And that reclaiming yourself has to change. It doesn't happen overnight. And that's the illusion I think people have when we go into entrepreneurship. It just happens. We're suddenly successful. We're not. We're just normal people going through normal lives, trying to help others and make the world a bit of a better place.
Thank you, Boz. I really do appreciate you as well being here. It's simply I can't fathom what you've been through. And for people to be here and witness, and you share your story so open and genuinely, you both do, you and Curtis. That's why I was very excited to host you both, because you have this synergy, this alignment with who you truly are. Although for those that are listening right now, you know, they're probably wanting more, but they're feeling that resistance or that stuck, right? And where they're at. And so for both of you, the question is, was it easy for you to transition smoothly? Or was it challenging? What was that terrain like for you as you move through that? Curtis, I'm going to bring you up for that.
Thank you. So was it challenging? Yes, absolutely. Anytime, I don't care who you are or what anyone says, anytime you are going through a paradigm shift or a mindset reframe, you're moving from the old to the new, you enter this state that I call the wobble zone. It's a cognitive dissonance between your conscious life that you're living and the software running in the background in your subconscious mind. They're out of kilter as soon as you introduce and entertain this new thought. So that's why people start to feel nausea, tension, you know, like chest pains. They wake up at 3 a.m. and start asking those questions that bubble up. What if this doesn't work out? You know, what will the neighbors think? What will my friends say? I've been here before. I've tried so many times to reinvent myself and it's never worked. And all these little devils on the shoulder come out. But like when I work with my clients, that they're well prepared for this wobble zone before they reach it. So when they see that, they learn to smile at the old story and say, oh, yeah, Curtis warned us about this. Okay. And they know it's temporary because it isn't forever. Like somebody quitting, like Baz, you know, moving away from drugs or whether it's alcohol, whatever that addiction is, you're going to go through the ringer. You're going to struggle. You're going to have your moments, your relapses, and you keep your baby steps forward. You keep at it until it becomes your new norm, at which point the 3 a.m. wake up stop, the sweaty palms stop. And, you know, it's not my place to speak. I gave up alcohol too. I won't speak for Baz because, you know, in that world, you always say I'm an alcoholic, or you never say I used to be, or that's the norm for most people. But you are no longer that person. And the longer you stay in that vibration, you're not that person anymore. You've moved on to a different state until the next challenge. So did I find it hard? Absolutely. I had all the same questions, all the same limiting beliefs bubbling up. Spent years and years doing this stunt work. The sacrifices I made. What if this doesn't work out? Can I make as much money, you know, as a soul guide, as a life coach, helping people that I want to do? Can I make as much money as I did as a stunt performer? I ran a multiple six-figure business. Is this possible? And of course, the answer is yes. These are just little things that pop up. I can earn more doing this and more doing something I enjoy much more. That's because it's me and I'm in the flow and I'm, you know, in my place that I'm meant to be. So one by one, you just deal with all these little things that bubble up and be prepared to roll up your sleeves and do the work, because you need to be taking action every single day for at least a month and onwards, working baby steps towards reinventing yourself.
Indeed, indeed. And that's where the amazing golden nuggets come up. That's when we, my awareness came in with the global shift, 2020. And I was sitting in meditation and it was like, oh, you know, my mind said I was going to do all these amazing things and, you know, have the retreats and workshops and all of that. And then in meditation, I saw this shit-stained paper bag. It said, here's your gift. This is for you. And I literally cringed. It was like, what? How could that be a gift? And I did. With courage, I opened that crappy bag and I dug in there. I dug deep. And when I did so, that's when I found the gems. That's when I found myself. And this is what we're here also to talk about for recalibration. I just wanted to share that as Boz is going to offer his golden nuggets of his journey.
I'll go and find them. I don't actually know where mine are. I mean, Curtis and I have so much in common, from addiction, from going through our own journeys. But the ultimate goal we both have is we want to serve other people. And some of the best mentors in the world come from serving other people, but also going through their own challenges. Some people call them dark nights of the soul, whatever you call them. We have a different outlook on how we look at them. Instead of going, oh, these are problems, and we use them as a cesspool and they multiply, we look at them as challenges and how we go through them. But we change our perspective. Curtis mentioned about mindsets. It's a commonality in the personal development world and coaching world. I looked at that when I first heard about them. And a set is a limitation. But what is an eternal state? A state. Eternal is a state of being. So instead of me going, oh, I've got a mindset, this is my frame, I tried to embody a state. And it was just a way of life. And when I looked at my addictions, drugs, alcohol, Curtis alluded to it earlier, the AA methodology is I am an alcoholic, and they say they're not, or they say they're an alcoholic. When I stopped any addiction, drugs, smoking, drinking, from that moment on, I said, I'm no longer a smoker. I am no longer a drinking. So I was reframing intentionally even the word alcohol. And I removed it from my vocabulary. Drugs, the same thing. And one of the changing moments for me when I stopped smoking, I'd been smoking from age of 14 to 39 to 40, was my wife. And she kept moving away from me. I was like, well, why are you moving away? I don't want to be around someone that smells of smoke. And that was the final straw for me. It was that switch of, okay, I value that and that relationship more than I do a packet of cigarettes. And from that moment, I became a non-smoker. And it's not just a mindset switch, it's an identity switch. So transformation, recalibration happens over time. The struggles don't get any easier. We just find different ways to deal with them. People call them tools. But it's an identity shift from being a certain identity, like Curtis was a stuntman for years. And people say, oh, I'm a banker, or I work in construction. That's an identity. I'm an entrepreneur. That's an identity. And the moment you start shifting through the identities to a higher state of being, higher vibration, possibilities and opportunities open up. And that's what people like Curtis and myself, April, do permanently. We move through the possibilities to find a higher vibration where we can serve other people.
Yes, thank you, Boz, for sharing that. It's the mindset that's incredible. There's a lot of people out there that might be saying, "Oh, easy for you," to quit smoking. Oh, yeah, that's something. Curtis, you were making six figures. That's easy for you to do. So what do you say to those people that are kind of the naysayers? I'm just being real here. Because I come across people talking about breath work and shifting that energy out of your body and the trauma and so what do you say to those people that say, oh, easy for you, Boz?
I think I'm going to revert back to someone that told me something a very long time ago. Every success you see, every uber successful entrepreneur, person on stage, public author that's been published in many places, is usually about 15 years in the making. There's no overnight successes. You only see the end result of what they want you to see. You do not see the late nights, the arguments at home, the being away from the family, the crying, the uncertainty, the financial distress. All of the things that they hide and they don't tell you straight up are incorporated into their journey, into their coaching or their teaching or their books, whatever they're delivering. But there's 15 years approximately in the making of getting where they are today. And all because you don't see the struggles doesn't mean they're not still going on. It doesn't mean they get off a live camera or they go and go, oh my God, how did I do? And they start critiquing themselves. But every time they do it, they regroup a little bit quicker. Because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. And I call it insidious social. Has been conditioned to be so judgmental because we have this ideal of perfection. Don't judge somebody you don't know. Don't judge a book by its cover. Show a bit of compassion and then understand a bit more and ask that question of, so what really are you doing to help yourself? And how did you really get here? The question will be so opening for the people who are now going, well, 7 figures, 6 figures, easy. Try it. Ask questions and be curious. Get to know the person first.
Yeah, the curiosity instead of the judgment. I find that when that's like a knee-jerk reaction because of they haven't gone deep enough, as Chris is saying here. Hey, Chris, thanks for being with us, and everyone else here. That people see the flowers, the leaves. It's like the mushroom, right? That's the flora from all the everything that's dug into the dirt and the roots of things, and they can't see everything that we've done up to this point. Although that is our essence. This is how we carry ourselves forward, and how people will see us. Yeah, I see you nodding, Curtis. What do you have to contribute to this stone soup of collective consciousness?
I was just smiling. I mean, funny, we didn't discuss this before we came on, but
No.
that was the exact figure, 15 years, that I was going to say if you came to me. So, Baz, you took the words out of my mouth. I've had so many instances like this, whereby disgruntled, even associates or colleagues in the film industry, have been overheard muttering, "It's all right for Curtis, but he stunt directing. Who does he think he is? Look at his car," and that kind of thing. And I've done the work, so I learned to a bit Teflon coated, just to smile. But if they were to ask, I could tell them it's just over 15 years that I've been doing this. That's been my apprenticeship, 15 years. And before that, 7 years to train to be a professional stuntman. So it took me 22 years to be an overnight success in the film game, in which time I've gone through, all kinds of turmoil that Baz alluded to, rifts, being away from home when I wanted to be there with my kids when they were younger, missing out on key moments and sacrificing things like, and it's the same across all different sectors. Oh, look at him rolling in money, traveling business class around the world and that kind of, yeah, I've been bankrupt. I've sat there with nothing and lost the shirt off my back and had to start again. And that wasn't that long ago. That's less than a decade ago. So I've been to some dark places and back and survived. And that's why I'm in a position to help. If people will just open their hearts and listen, I'm here for all the right reasons, not to showboat, detached of ego, but I've been there. And success isn't an overnight thing. It's collective. And it's not a destination either. It's a journey. And so we never really get there. And at that mental switch of, oh, so this is a journey, you become much more mindful, much more present, much more grateful. And as Baz said, when you hit these different challenges, you can meet it head on of like, okay, that's interesting. What's this here to teach me? What do I need to learn from this to take me, to escort me to where I'm heading on my next little stop in my ever evolving story, and it becomes a life of co-creation and bliss and freedom. It's a wonderful place to be.
Indeed. Well said. Well said. Because we're, as Abraham Hicks says, I follow Abraham, we're just getting ready to get ready to get ready. And it really is being here as we're sitting here at 11:29 and 13 seconds Central Standard Time, right? We're co-creating, we're having fun, we're enjoying this conversation. This is what living and co-creating is all about. It's not the end goal, as Curtis, you mentioned before, you were doing it for the wrong reasons, the money. And the power of law of attraction too, you calibrated, right? Recalibrated up to the stuntman image, and you were receiving exactly what you wanted, although you feeling that disconnect, right? And same Boz, feeling that disconnect through the addiction and through just kind of chasing your tail, so to speak. And when we're able to recognize it and say, oh, I have a choice, I can recalibrate again. We're not stuck. We don't have to pigeonhole ourselves, and bringing it back to the mind, right? How are we speaking to ourselves? How are we seeing ourselves in the future and working in this moment with that excitement, that enthusiasm, because this is what the recalibration is about, and witnessing when we do feel wonky, because that's going to happen. And saying, wow, look, I feel wonky. This is awesome. I'm on this teeter-totter and I feel uncomfortable, although I know this is what recalibration is. Yeah, Baz, I see that you're moving a little bit there, like you want to jump into this stone soup.
I love the journey, and I'm going to share a story with the audience, and you The day I got married, unexpectedly. It was all rushed. I was traveling and I came back. I was flown. My wife flew me back from Australia to the US. I had nothing but a passport and a rucksack. I arrived back in this country with $7. 10 minutes before my wedding, I was at a retreat in Rosario Hotel in Washington State on Ellis Island. Gifted a retreat with Rob Wogan, who is one of the documentary on Heal, world-renowned healer, incredible guy. And unbeknownst to us, Gerard Butler came to that retreat. So 10 minutes before my wedding, I was having a conversation with Gerard Butler over coffee at a bar. Surreal moment, but it actually was the foundation that changed my trajectory of how I was thinking about what I was going to do. She shared his story with me. I won't bore you with that now, I'll go into it. But one thing he always said to me, and it always, and still to this day stands out, as when you're on a mountain or on a journey, make sure you don't ever believe you're at the top of the mountain. Don't ever be at your Everest. Always be on that journey. Because when you're at the top of the mountain, I won't say the exact words he said to me, but there's always somebody willing to knock you off. Now, that came true to me in so many different ways. And it humbled me along the journey so many times. It's unbelievable. But every time I came back to that statement from Gerard, it resonated so deeply with me. And I didn't really understand it at the time. I wasn't an entrepreneur back then. I wasn't a marketer. I didn't really know what coaching really was. Now, when I look back on these sort of stories that people have shared with me, clients, people I've met, every single one of them has a truth that is so deeply ingrained in their journey that has so much impact in others. And Curtis has spent time with stars, Hollywood, and he did all these stories, but coming from a humble guy who didn't even know me, spending 10 minutes with me at a bar, giving me life-changing advice that I still use today. So don't think because you're on this journey or you're at the top of something, there isn't another hill to climb, there isn't another mountain, because there is. And sometimes you don't know what that's going to look like. But make sure you stay humble. Make sure you stay grateful. The smaller things, because the smaller things stack up. But Gerard was one of the guys that I took advice from, unknowingly how instrumental it would be in the future. So be willing to take advice, even from the least expecting people.
Yes, and you still holding that gratitude and appreciation for him, planting those seeds. Yeah, that's what we're here to do, is as we're connecting with each other and seeing each other as equals. Although there is some, aspect of what you said about the climbing the mountain and just being prepared, right? Make sure that you have your hiking gear, appropriate hiking gear, right, Curtis? Because Curtis, you know something about hiking mountains, don't you?
I've done a little bit of hiking in my time, yes. I used to love climbing and hiking, and I assume you're referring to Kilimanjaro.
Yes.
The last one that was the last one I did. And and I've met Jerry myself as well. We did a film together years ago in Iceland, so I've had a few adventures with Gerard. I did Beowulf and Grendel with him, so he's a lovely fellow, and we've had many a late night chat by the elements, and spent a lot of time on mountains, at the top of the mountains in a mock Viking long hut, so that was good times. He's a nice fella. But yeah, being prepared, and there is always there's a queue of people waiting to but barge you off the top of that summit for sure, and just pay them no interest. I always just be in the moment, not look back, And I do view my life, if the analogy of a mountain walk, I look upon it as a beautiful walk with lots of false summits. Anybody into climbing knows that feeling of the legs burning. They're almost at the top. They're almost, and they get at the top. Oh, there's still a valley to go down, another one to climb. And you can moan for a bit, but hey, just, enjoy the downward walk for a bit, enjoy the rest, go downhill, enjoy the oxygen getting richer as you go into the valley, and prepare yourself, then dig in and go higher still, because it's the next time to dig in and climb higher. And I see it as peaks and troughs, hills and valleys, with some absolutely amazing moments on various summits. But it's like going across the Andes or something, like the spine of the South America, and just enjoying a continuous long journey of highs and lows and everything in between. It just is. It's the now, enjoy it and embrace it.
Yes, and embrace that journey for sure. And so when people are on this journey for recalibration, I just want to gain more insight for your amazing words of wisdom here, friends, about them, striving so hard, right? That from that high functioning to half living, recognizing when they're in that mode. What words of wisdom do you have for those who are thinking that they need to go, do all the things in order to achieve, that high functioning and half living lifestyle? Boz, can you offer some support?
Sure. It's actually quite apt. I had a client yesterday. He'd just come back from 2 weeks in Hawaii, and I go to Hawaii for next year for your retreat, April. And he came back and he tried to run before he could walk again. What I mean by that, he tried to gather momentum straight back into it before stepping back and actually enjoying the moment. And followed me up in a complete panic, having a meltdown because his daughter had gone to college. He was missing his daughter. Suddenly he's got a renewed relationship with his wife that they haven't had for at least 18 years, 17 years. Suddenly it all dawned on him that he didn't know who he was. He's forgotten about his relationship with himself and his wife. Pause. Take time. Take time for you. Take stock. People seem to be in a rush all the time to complete something that they don't know what truly it is. My advice, enjoy. I just said it earlier. We live in the present moment. And the moment you realize that you enjoy this moment, not 3 minutes ahead, life starts to change. And your focus and relationships with who you are change as well. And your priority in that moment changes. There's no rush to do anything. You think there's a time limit on something, you will have a rougher ride. Not going to fail. No, I don't believe there's such thing as a failure. Only when you stop trying. But the moment you set into that state of, this is my moment, I'm just going to enjoy it and recalibrate into a state of gratitude, bliss, presence, and love for yourself, most importantly. I think that's when things start to change.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's, I say, having that ease and grace for ourselves first. No one else can give it to us. We have to. That's so important, to have that ease and grace. So that way we can hold that compassion for ourselves. And then that's when our cup, overflows and we become that ripple effect. Yeah. Curtis, any words of advice for people who are, in that high functioning mode and half living?
Well, having been there on many occasions, I have ADHD, not that I'm big into labels, but diagnosed later in life with inattentive ADHD, which explained a lot at the time. And it was cool to like, okay, and reflect and think that makes sense. Okay. But it's just a label. And the various practices that I do kind of mitigate that, in terms of meditation and mindfulness and breathing and all of these things that I'm into. Quietens the monkey mind and allows focus, and I can turn it to my advantage and time block intensive focus for an hour or so. But it's crucial, if I do an hour of hyper focus, to rest, to step away from the monitor or wherever it is that I'm doing. And so it is in life that after an intense period of a business launch or a big promotional push or a publication and a tour or a book signing, whatever it might be, it's absolutely just as crucial as that effort and focus to step back and listen to your body and relax and recuperate. That ease and grace you speak about, it's absolutely essential. I often look at nature and see nature doesn't force, nature doesn't rush. It just is. And if mankind just leaves a part of the world alone for a while, even a concrete jungle, the vines creep in, the concrete crumbles, nature takes over, it's just all in its own time, as it should be. And we can learn a lot from that. So yeah, there's a time to reap, there's a time to sow, there's a time for laser focus and to really graft intentionally every single day, baby steps to achieve certain goals and certain steps. But yeah, absolutely. I tell all of my clients, we factor that in, that moment to rest. Something I didn't do for years was celebrate successes. I was terrible for it. It wasn't until I was on an NLP course years ago, and the instructor, knowing I'd broken this particular world record, that he was fascinated by this bungee jump I did once. He'd said, we were doing an exercise. Okay, just put yourselves into a place of real celebration, real gratitude for a big achievement. And everybody was thinking and nodding. And I was thinking, I can't think of one. I really couldn't think of a state where I had felt celebratory. And he picked on me first. Curtis, let's start with you. And the class laughed. Surprise. Which one have you picked? And I said, can you come back to me, Greg? I'm struggling a bit. And he was like, he said, I would have a field day if you were my client. You're struggling with all the stuff you've done. I said, yeah, but if I'm honest. So he started picking on me. Well, when you broke that world record and you landed under your parachute, how did you feel? It must have. And I said, what were you thinking? I said, I was thinking, if I hope the footage worked, because that camera looked like it had moved and Sky TV are waiting for that footage. And I couldn't wait to retrieve the balloon basket, get the cameras out, check the footage, dash across the country to where there was a news team waiting for a press conference. And my life was like that for decades. Just as soon as I got a first dan black belt, okay, what's the syllabus for second dan? There was no celebration. I've completely turned that around now. I actually have a little celebration jar. And when I achieve even a micro goal, I don't drink, but I still crack called No Secco. I pretend Prosecco. It's alcohol free, but I'll still celebrate. Pop a cork.
You said No Secco?
No Secco, yeah. And I'll write on the cork the date, what it is. This is the date I've done that, and I'll keep it in a jar. And it's just a reminder, if you're ever being hard on yourself, you pass a big jar full of corks, and every single one's like a big success. It's just a little nudge that you're doing okay. You are good enough. All is well. But that's it. You need to put them rests in. You need to take a moment to celebrate self-love, grace, because you are worth it.
Exactly. And I love Chris's response of, emphasizing on recalibration and the refinement through self-reflection and stillness. That's so important. As when you said, we keep going on to the next, and not pause and allow ourselves to savor and really appreciate ourselves. Because I say that I was running around. There's I don't know if you're familiar with it, Curtis and Boz, the Little Red Hen storybook of this hen, and she lived on a farm, and she would ask all the other animals, will you help me? I want to make bread. Will you help me, harvest the wheat? And all the animals said no. And then she would ask who's going to help me mill the wheat, and nobody wanted it, right? And so on until she was ready to sit down and eat the bread. And everybody said, yes, I want to sit down and eat the bread with you. But she had done all the work. And in the book, she sits down and she eats the bread by herself. Well, I never sat down to eat the bread. I would take the bread out of the oven, put it on there, say, okay, the bread's done. Now what's next? And so I realized that I was, bypassing my own gratitude and appreciation for myself, appreciating the work and the effort and who I'm becoming in the meantime, in this process. And it wasn't until I started my inner work, this recalibration, this awareness of, I want more for me. I'm going to be a little bit more selfish, and that's okay. And so how can I help to shift the script, as we talked about earlier, the mindset of what we're telling ourselves, of what's coming up of past, I say echoes, stories that we tell ourselves about ourselves and other people that keep us in judgment, in that limiting beliefs. This is so good. I am just very excited for this conversation. And we have Mike, of course, here, Mike Asherbranner. He is the founder of the Hounds of Business. And I just want to give a big shout out to Mike, because without him, we wouldn't be here. I would not have met Boz and Curtis, of being part of the Hounds and this heart-centered community. And we also have, of course, Chris is here, and Hank Marshall, thank you for tuning in. Osman and Deborah Jackson, she's also an amazing Hounds 2 member. We had Lisa Fevick here, and also Lady Drew is stopping by to say hello as well. And of course, the Hounds of Business community here. So this is so important for us to understand how even community helps us to recalibrate. The people that we're around, the social aspects of who we are putting our time and energy into. And it's not an egoic thing. It's more of, I want to spend more time with Boz. Can everybody raise their hand to that? And Curtis. I mean, I want to see some comments here. Wouldn't you want to spend a day with Curtis and hear about his amazing stunts and world, records, and then also being part of his, shift, of his recalibration of his program, and as well as Boz, because this is how community really creates that ripple effect and helps us to recalibrate as well. What do you both think about that? What are your thoughts?
Curtis?
I was just going to say, Beth. Yeah, absolutely. Proud to be a member of the Hounds. And to be completely honest, because I'm here, as always, to be authentic and my authentic self, I'm a shy person naturally. So I've always been a bit of a loner in my earlier days, in terms of I enjoy time alone, enjoy sitting down, studying a lot of, and this is true of a lot of stuntmen actually. It's partly the psychology of it, of those sorts of achievers in that particular niche, in that we gravitate to solo sports, mountaineering alone largely, maybe paragliding, that kind of thing, just where it's you on your own, going out on a long run, yomping, doing with a backpack. And so I was very much a solopreneur early days, thinking I could do it all. And it's only with a little bit of age and wisdom and a little bit more confidence, because I was such a shy person, that I've come to embrace the power of community. And the Hounds is a perfect example, where you're with like-minded individuals. The Hounds obviously is full of heart-centered individuals like myself, like you, April, like Baz. So you feel at home, and you're not getting pitched or sold to. We're all in that same community to love and support one another and help each other, advise each other. So it's a wonderful place to be and spend a little bit of time with like-minded individuals. And it's so key and important on our journey to feel love and support, and also accountability. That's a big part of success, I think.
Yes, for sure. Accountability. Yeah. Boz, what do you think about community and helping to recalibrate with those? And it doesn't necessarily have to be about the Hounds of Business, but even in your program or any other areas that you've noticed how communities helped you recalibrate.
I think, community is a foundation and cornerstone of everything that
Oops.
we do as entrepreneurs, and looked over a lot in a lot of aspects, whether it be something like Hounds of Business or a partnership somewhere else. The cornerstone of what I do is a community called A Million Dreams, but it's about the people collaborating and coming together. The idea of any community is about self-awareness, and the people who you hang around with most, that's who you become. And I know this because I was, Curtis, if you're going out to the pub or to bars or clubs, you become in that environment, and that's what you identify with. But the equilibrium of that and the other balance of the scale is, if you hang around with millionaires and billionaires, that's where you're going to become, because you're going into that the mindset, the mind frames, and the environments with them. And I would love to hang around with billionaires, because billionaires is the way I want to get to, not for selfish reasons, but so I can give the impact that I want. We said earlier about being selfish, and that's how a lot of people view it. It's about being selfless, because it's a balance of receiving as well as giving. You graciously offer a stage to not just myself and Curtis, but to so many others. That's not being selfish when you're edifying other people, but you're also providing a platform for others. It should always be a two-way streak. And this selflessness and selfish dynamic is a to and fro all the time. But choose intentionally where you hang out and who you hang out with, because that's where you're going and what you're going to become, ultimately become. But do it intentionally, and do it with a bit of guidance and support. Get a community. Come to the Hounds. Come and see Curtis. Come to something where you resonate.
I can't agree with you more. And also, I want to remind everyone, right? Pay attention to how you feel after you've engaged with somebody, after you've been in this community, like you described perfectly, Boz, going out to the pubs and, and all that. If you're going there to celebrate and, have a good time and you understand that the energy that's there and limit yourself to the exposure, great, although there are a lot of people that are roaming around that don't understand. They're on autopilot, and then they wonder why they feel so crappy the next day or feel down, and then it takes a little bit longer to recalibrate, right? It setting that set point, right, for our intentions, for being mindful, for showing up. How do we want to show up? And then being a selective sifter of what I want more of, right? I want more gems. I want more conversations with Curtis and Boz, for sure. Yes. And speaking of which, Curtis, as we're coming down to the top, or coming up to the top of the hour here, what do you have to share with our audience today about your programming, how to help people to transition, right? Please explain about it. I'm not going to give it justice, so please explain about the offer. I have the link in the description, and then I'll put it up here on the screen. So please
Well, I'll
give
keep
more
it as brief
information
as
about
possible,
that.
but thank you for asking that. It's an 8-week journey for people who are just a bit lost and confused. There's a variety of people in that. Some people may have had some success like I did, but find themselves in a job or career, running something that really they're just doing for the money now because their heart is somewhere else. But they're worried about doing that other thing. Oftentimes they don't know really what the other thing is yet. They have an inkling, they're drawn a certain way. Maybe it's a hobby or interest that they actually would like to monetize. And if they could do that, life would be perfect. Imagine getting paid to do this thing that I would do for free anyway. That's quite a common theme. But it's making that step, lack of clarity, dealing with a lot of the fears. If there's anybody to hold somebody's hand through fears, then who better than a stuntman of 30 years who's battled all of those fears and conquered them, you know? So it's an 8-week journey where I work very closely with them, regular meetings on Zoom. They get a Slack channel directly to me. So it's like a coach in their pocket, like texting me. We keep in regular touch. I've recorded a ton of material to support that. So there's online videos, tutorials, downloads, lots of goodies on there, drip fed slowly as to not overwhelm. And it's a journey to reprogram their mindset. It's a journey to set them forward in the direction of their dreams, modifying their subconscious mind, holding their hands through the wobble zone, and all those limiting beliefs that come up. We use energetic practices, various methods to just cut those ties, to release them so they no longer hold them back. They're no longer part of their being. And so after a sustained period of time, they emerge before the end of the 8 weeks, a changed person, literally thinking in a different way, feeling in a different way, and moving forward in the direction of their dreams in a different way, in taking aligned action. So that's the journey. It's an 8-week journey. And I only take 5 people on a month. So it's very personalized because I want to spend time, like quality time with these people. And so for me, that's the magic number. Used to be 7. I've cut that down to 5. So just 5 people a month that I'll work with. And I absolutely love what I'm doing. They all love it. And so we all get something out of it. I get as much out of it as I do, you know, as the clients do. It's amazing.
Ah, that's beautiful work, Curtis. And that's the alignment compass, yes?
The alignment compass is the freebie. That's
okay.
The point of, do I want to do this with Curtis? Does this resonate with me? Is this on the, let's take a deep dive on my life right now. So the alignment compass is just a free gift, www.alignmentcompass.com. For those thinking of joining the program, which is Pathway to Purpose, if they just go to curtisrivers.com, there's a video on there, a little bit more information, and they can jump on a call and we'll have a little chat, see if it's right for them, see if we're a good fit.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for that offer, that free offer. That's amazing. And that will definitely give people a taste, right? How to recalibrate and connect with you for sure. Boz, what do you have to share with our audience?
I think I did a very focused webinar yesterday, and it was about you understanding where your focus is within your ideal client. It's an incubator, 8 weeks long, same as Curtis is, but it's all about you understanding where you're going as an entrepreneur and also aligning who you are with that message. When I entered this world of entrepreneurship, I didn't know much or didn't know anything really about entrepreneurs or coaching, but I kept coming up with this conundrum of people saying to me they didn't know who their client was. I didn't know what their message was. And I had experienced the same thing. When the world of artificial intelligence came out, the world lit up. But we lost something, and that's the human connection. That human connection is what gravitates other people towards you. And this incubator is 8 weeks long, and it goes through your business system, your mindsets, where you're going, reframes a lot, but clarifies so much more than just what your business is going to be. It clarifies or recalibrates and reclarifies who you truly are with an expanded version of yourself. And then once you start stepping into that, the end results are clarity, direction, focus. April said before the show, she had an arrow alignment with what she was doing. Be the arrow in your life first before you can save anybody else's. And make sure what you're doing in your world is about you, as well as the other person. Curtis said it. He enjoys it just as much as helping the clients, but it serves him as well as the business, and you are part of the business. So that does what it does, and it's an application only. I work with about 4 people at the highest level per month, and then we go on a little journey together, and I try and help you as best I can in whatever way I can. But it's focused on you and your version of what you think your life should be.
That sounds amazing. Both of you offering these great, just gems, because you've done the work. You've been through the process. And for you to offer these for others, that just helps to kind of clear away the fog, if you will. You know, you both are amazing guides for others who are looking to recalibrate. And I am honored to be with you today, and that you took time out, and we're a little over time. Although I do want to bring up one more last comment that's very meaningful. I think you both will really appreciate it. And that's from Mike. Right, the 3 of you have been instrumental blessings to me. My growth and the impact of the Hounds of Business are making in the world. Saying I appreciate you all is an understatement. So this is the ripple effect. This is why we show up. This is why the 3 of us are doing the work we do, because we believe in ourselves, because we've been through it. And we're here wholeheartedly to support you. So please reach out to Boz, reach out to Curtis or myself, and you don't have to go it alone. You don't have to go it alone. And no more chasing cars. We know what happens when that happens, when you chase cars. So thank you, my friends. Thank you so much for this time today. Thank you all that showed up to tune in and listen live and on the replay. We appreciate you. And again, reach out, make those connections, and keep living with intention.